Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the monthly meeting of the McCandless Council to order. You may stand if you wish for the invocation by Councilman Ledon and remain standing for the salute of the flag.
Almighty Father, as we come to the end of another year, let us pause and give thanks for the blessings you have given us throughout the year. We are thankful for our health, our families, friends, our homes, schools, parks, work, and all that makes up the town of McCandless. We thank you for our police, firefighters, emergency medical technicians, public works personnel, and all those who work to keep our town a great place to live. Please protect these men and women, along with our military, wherever they may serve in this troubled world. As our new board begins their duties in a few weeks, endow them with enthusiasm and wisdom to make decisions that are righteous in your eyes and beneficial to the citizens they were elected to serve. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and a healthy and safe New Year to all of our residents.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving right along to announcements. Toby.
I'm covering that one, Mr. Chairman, and the next one. I move to adopt resolution number 21 of the 2017 series, a resolution recognizing Ralph J. Ledon for the 12 years of service for his 12 years of service as a member of Town Council and its Assistant Secretary, and including the 33 years as Chief of Police.
I second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments or questions for anyone? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. President, I move to adopt resolution.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I got ahead of it. I missed
Ahead of
the main. Yeah, I'll read the resolution. Where's the presentee? Okay. If you want us to pose for a picture, I'll read it.
It can be candid, just keep on rolling.
I can't hold this thing. Hold it.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
keep rolling.
A resolution recognizing Ralph J. Ledon for his 12 years of service as a member of the Town Council, its Assistant Secretary, and 33 years of service as police officer, lieutenant, and chief of police for the McCandless Police Department. Whereas Ralph J. Ledon, a lifelong resident of the town of McCandless, has compiled a most impressive 45 years of service in his hometown, the last 12 as a member of Town Council. And whereas after a stint in the U.S. Army, Ralph Ledon became Officer Ledon in 1964, proudly donning the badge of the then McCandless Township Police Department. And whereas Officer Ledon nurtured child safety with his kindly and jovial nature for McCandless and North Allegheny School District, children as youth officer, combating drug abuse, serving in a variety of police duties, leading the department first as a lieutenant in 1977, and the last 10 of his 33 years of police work as police chief. And whereas, while serving as Lieutenant Ledon, he subdued and apprehended a would-be assassin of President Ronald Reagan, along with then patrol officer Gary Anderson, after a significant struggle requiring both of them to be hospitalized. And whereas Chief Ralph Ledon engaged in numerous activities and associations in Allegheny County and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, including the Regional District Domestic Violence Task Force, the Allegheny County Chiefs of Police Association, the Western Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association with the Allegheny County Police and Fire Academy Executive Board, the Allegheny County Drug Task Force, the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association, Citizens Opposed to Pornography Task Force, and the North Hills Boroughs and Townships of Police Association. And whereas Ralph LaDawn returned to serve town residents with his election as councilman of the 6th Ward in 2005, on which he held chairmanships of town council's Recreation, Public Services, and Public Safety committees. And whereas during his Public Services Committee tenure, the town took a comprehensive step to significantly expand recyclable and yard waste collection through our successful automated system. The enhancement of the town's volunteer fire service through continued acquisitions of modern apparatus and our ongoing step-up McCandless recruitment and retention program, which promotes firefighter health and wellness. And whereas with Mr. LaDawn as Public Safety Chair, the next era of policing in the town has begun, highlighted by such programs as our police department's new K-9 unit. And whereas Ralph LaDawn has earned a reputation for fairness, compassion, and great concerns for his community and its people, tirelessly looking for a way to help those he serves. Now therefore be it resolved, and it is hereby resolved, that the town council of the town of McCandless extends its great thanks and appreciation to Ralph J. LaDawn for his many years of dedicated municipal service to the residents of the town of McCandless. Ralph, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Speak after.
It's up to you if you want to invite something chair. You want to have him speak right now, Greg?
Whenever he wants to.
Why don't we just do it right now while we have continuity?
You want to do it now, Ralph?
Sure, I can.
I think that's easy.
The other one was just like I
I know
wrote it.
there are,
so.
I know there are relatives and many friends of Ralph's here. If anyone wishes to comment to Ralph publicly while he's here, it won't be your last opportunity to talk with him, but it would be a nice touch as we honor him with this plaque. Anybody who wishes to come forward, please come forward and identify yourself.
I'm Sarah Kennedy from Speaker Mike Tursai's office. And first, let me just say about McCandless, as a resident for almost 14 years now, it's hard to imagine you could find a better quality of life anywhere in the world than you can in the town of McCandless. And that is in part due to people like Ralph LaDawn, who have dedicated their life to public service here. And I got to work with Ralph in Representative Tursai's office for many, many years, and he's showed me the ropes around here, and I will be forever grateful for that and his friendship. But on behalf of Speaker Tursai, I brought Ralph tonight a citation for the House of Representatives to honor him for his outstanding service for town council and as chief of police, and for his just outstanding work and his friendship to me and the speaker.
Anybody else have anything to say for Ralph? Oh, here comes.
Mr. Kirk?
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. President. My name is William Kirk. I'm here on behalf of Allegheny County Council and Allegheny County Councilwoman Cindy Kirk. The Allegheny County Council has prepared a proclamation, whereas the secret to success is good leadership, and good leadership is all about making the lives of your team members and workers better. That quote by Tony Dungy depicts the true essence of Ralph LeDaun's character and his years of devotion to the town of McCandless. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Allegheny County Council, on behalf of the grateful citizens of Allegheny County, hereby recognizes Mr. LeDaun for his contributions to the town of McCandless and to the enhancement and the well-being of our citizens. This County Council thanks him for his more than 12 years of dedicated public service, and we wish him well as he moves into the future. Signed, Allegheny County Councilwoman Cindy Kirk. Attested, John P. DeFazio, President of Allegheny County Council. Please accept this as a token of our esteem for your outstanding service.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Now, I see some other people here who know Ralph quite well. Is there anyone else who wishes to say a few words or have any other proclamation of any kind? Now's the time to do it. Okay, well, I think that's the end. Again, congratulations to you, Ralph, on a very nice closure to one phase of your career.
Is there somebody here?
Oh, oh, you did have something you want to say?
I do, I forgot.
That's okay. Please go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Tom McElhone. I'm a commissioner in Shader Township, and I'm here tonight to express our gratitude and appreciation to Ralph for the many years of intergovernmental cooperation that he has shown. 28 years ago, I became a commissioner in Shader, and one of the first gentlemen I met was Ralph, and his expertise in public safety was valuable to me as a new person on the board to gain the experience that I needed. And if Ralph will step forward, we have a proclamation for him. I'm giving you a break. There's no whereases. On behalf of the Shader Township Board of Commissioners, the Shader Township Administration, and the residents of Shader Township, please accept our gratitude and appreciation for your years of intergovernmental cooperation between the town of McCandless Council and the Shader Township Board of Commissioners. You are to be commended for your 12 years of service as a town of McCandless councilman and your 33 years as law enforcement officer and subsequent chief of the town of McCandless Police Force. Your willingness to work with Shader Township in solving medical concerns and improving the lifestyle of thousands of North Hills residents will never be forgotten. The experience that you brought to the North Hills Council of Governments in assisting its 19 municipalities was invaluable. We wish you good health and prosperity in your retirement from public office. It's presented to you on December 18th by Timothy J. Rogers, Township Manager, and myself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd also like to add our appreciation to Mrs. LeDaun. You can't do this without the full cooperation of your spouse. And I know from myself, my wife has shown me the error of my ways many times. Ralph, thank you.
Congratulations again, Ralph, and I think we have now reached the end of the proclamations. Just to make double sure, is there anyone who wishes to come forward with a proclamation? I take it there isn't anyone. In that case, we'll close this portion of the meeting. I feel constrained. Oh, his remarks. Well, I wanted to make one very brief remark, Ralph. Obviously, we have a great affection for and respect for the work that you've done on my years on council, and I'm sure that there are many others who feel the same way. The only other thing I'd like to say is, unfortunately, Mary Jo Ladon, who's been by Ralph's side all these years and still is experiencing some medical problems that really limits her ability to appear at an event such as today. I'm sure that she regrets that, and as does Ralph. But she's certainly here in spirit and knows what's going on, and is a wonderful person, and is recovering very nicely. So I know they look forward to many years together as whatever life holds out for Ralph proceeds. Ralph, you want now to give a 40-minute oration?
At least.
Okay, well, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. McKim. Again, 45 years is a long time, but I'll tell you what, I don't regret 1 second of those 45 years, and I would gladly repeat that performance if given the opportunity. But there is a TV show with language such as "the tribe has spoken" and "you have been voted off the island." I guess they both apply to me. It appears that 45 years of loyalty, diligent, and unblemished service to one's town and devotion to the safety and best interests of the town has very little meaning. Another phrase is taken from the Scottish poet Dylan Thomas, who said, "Go softly into that last good night." Well, I don't plan to do that. I already volunteer at St. Barnabas Health Center. I'm on the Community Day Committee here in McCandless, and you may find me volunteering at the Heritage Center or the library from time to time. So no, I won't be going softly into that last good night. But since this is my last official meeting of Town Council, I take this opportunity to thank everyone for their support and to wish a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a safe and healthy New Year to all, and to all a good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ralph. The next item on the agenda is a resolution 22. I move to adopt resolution number 22 of the 2017 series, a resolution honoring Gerard J. Hoffman Jr. for his 44 years of stalwart service as a member of Town Council, its president and vice president, and various other duties and positions.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Question on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Is Toby coming back with something? Oh, here he is. Mr. Hoffman, would you be kind enough to step forward and join me as I read this? Or if you wish to stay there, would that be more comfortable for you? This is a resolution number 22 of 2017, a resolution honoring Gerard J. Hoffman Jr. for his 44 years of stalwart service to the town of McCandless as a member of Town Council, its vice president, and various other duties and positions. There was some thought that somebody in the audience didn't like this gentleman from Shale, I think didn't like whereases. Well, get ready, because there's quite a few in this one. Whereas Jerry Hoffman Jr. commenced his 44-year municipal career upon his election as a then township of McCandless Commissioner in 1974. And whereas Mr. Hoffman applied his common sense, affable nature, and practical knowledge to what became his councilmanic duties under the Town of McCandless Home Rule Charter, which took effect in 1975, serving as chairman of Town Council's Recreation, Safety, and Public Works Committees, Council Vice President, and president over his tenure. And whereas throughout his career, Mr. Hoffman interacted with other agencies and municipalities as the town's representative on the North Hills Council of Governments Board of Directors and the McCandless Township Sanitary Authority, member of the Northland Public Library Authority, Western Pennsylvania Township Commissioners, the town's Industrial Development Authority, the only chairman that the Joint Recreation Board of McCandless, Franklin Park, Marshall Township, and Bradford Woods ever had, and the Northern Area Recreation Board, which studied recreation for participating North Hills communities, and Governor Tom Ridge's Advisory Committee on Libraries. And whereas Jerry Hoffman volunteered his time, energy, and leadership to his community in other ways, including service to the Ingomar Volunteer Fire Company, number 2, for 61 years, and is still going strong from firefighter to president for 30 of those years. Firefighters Relief Association, North Allegheny Band Patrons, the Friends of North Park since 2002, and youth baseball and basketball coaching. And whereas Mr. Hoffman nurtured acquisition of 200 acres of land in the town for active and passive recreation, and the creation of a recreation complex in each quadrant of the town, spearheaded the reconstruction of 26 miles of town roads, championed stormwater management, and installation of sidewalks in new development. And whereas Jerry Hoffman takes great delight in the use of the Devlin Pavilion and the recreational facilities and grounds surrounding Town Hall, which magically become the venue for our Community Day each year under his leadership. And whereas since Mr. Hoffman is a student of history, respects history, teaches history, and makes history, it was a natural for him to spark the construction of the McCandless Northern Allegheny Heritage Center to preserve local culture and history and provide a permanent home for its display. And whereas Jerry Hoffman is husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather, he is a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, firefighter, friend, neighbor, public official, historian, and mentor. Now therefore, be it resolved, and it is hereby resolved, that Town Council extends its deepest appreciation to Jerry Hoffman for his 44 years of public service to the town he loves. Town Council further resolves that Pump House Lane, serving McCandless and Northern Allegheny Heritage Center, is hereby renamed Hoffman Lane in his honor. Jerry, congratulations.
It's the next picture.
Yeah, we're maybe the same picture.
You can hold that one maybe
Well, I don't want to be a picture necessarily.
horizontally.
John, does that work?
This is perfect, yeah, good.
Okay, thank you very much. Beverly, and I know there's children and all kinds of other relatives. I recognize another Hoffman there sitting behind Mrs. Hoffman. Does anybody wish to say anything? We don't want to, now's the time that you can do that if you'd like to make a couple comments. But we don't want you to burst into tears while you're doing it. Please come up and identify yourself, sir.
You can speak at the podium over here if you like. Right here, Richard? Yes. Richard? You can speak at the podium or that mic, whatever you like.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rich Hoffman, and I'm Jerry's oldest son. Right, Raymond? oldest of the twins. For those of you who don't know, I've been around, we started in 1974. I was talking to Mrs. Powers when she got reelected. I remember going to the Y and stuffing envelopes for Bob and for my dad, and Kelly and the kids were there. My dad's always loved this community. He's been a fireman, a volunteer fireman. He ran because he wanted the community to be better. He's overseen a lot of the growth. And there's nothing, he's always been this community first. And you'll never find anybody that's been more honest and more dedicated and doing the right thing and making this place a better place to live. And we can't say enough about it. I mean, he was a teacher here for 38 years, still a volunteer fireman, still active, although active now means getting the mail. But I look around and I see like Councilman Ladon and has been around forever. My dad's been that way. And Dad, you did a hell of a job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. I know there's another son, Ray's, in the audience, and I'm not asking you to speak, but just wanted to recognize you. And of course, Bev's there, and I'm not sure that, in fact, I'm sure I don't know all the other smiling faces down to the ladies, but to anybody who's a daughter of Jerry Hoffman, why don't you just stand up real quick and or raise your hand, whatever you want to do. Your daughter?
Daughter.
And who are these granddaughters next beside you?
These are my daughters, his granddaughters.
Okay, great. Okay, great. You're a grandson?
Yes.
And the lady beside Ray Hoffman?
Daughter-in-law.
Okay, great. Have we missed anybody?
My father-in-law, as of 4 days from now, for 35 years.
That's great. Congratulations, okay? If we haven't missed anybody, I think we'll close out this portion of the meeting.
Might be somebody else.
We have more.
Sarah.
Sarah,
Not so
ladies
fast.
first. Please, Sarah, go ahead.
Again, Sarah from Speaker Cherzai's office to honor Mr. Hoffman on his 44 years of outstanding accomplishments, although I would say these are better accomplishments than anything here in the town, this outstanding family who all contributes to the community. But I have to say it's been a true pleasure to work with you on PennDOT projects and park projects, and anytime Mr. Hoffman calls, you know to call right back and get to work on something. So, and you've made this just an outstanding place to live. Like I said, it's hard to imagine there'd be a better quality of life anywhere, and that's thanks to your dedication and service to the community, Mr. Hoffman. So congratulations on your service, and on behalf of the House of Representatives and Speaker Cherzai, a citation for you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Good evening. My name is William Kirk. Again, I'm here on behalf of Allegheny County Council and County Councilwoman Cindy Kirk to present a proclamation, a token of the esteem for Mr. Hoffman. Whereas I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I do know, the only one among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve. That quote by French philosopher Albert Schweitzer personifies the talented elected officials at Allegheny County and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania have been fortunate to have contributed invaluably to our communities. So now, therefore, be it resolved that the Allegheny County Council, on behalf of the grateful citizens of Allegheny County, hereby recognizes Gerald J. Hoffman, Jr. for his contributions to the town of McCandless and to the enhancement of the well-being of its citizens. The County Council thanks him for his more than 44 years of dedicated public service, and we wish him well as he moves into the future. Presented this 18th day of December, 2017. Attested John P. DeFazio, President of County Council. Signed Cynthia R. Kirk, Allegheny County Councilwoman. Thank you.
Again, I would like to echo the same comments I made for Mr. Ladon for Jerry. Jerry was my mentor when I come on to North Hills Council of Governments. At the time, people had told me of Jerry's experience, and that I heard rumors that he had first got involved in government when Washington was crossing the Delaware. I don't think so. Jerry has been a mentor to me. A lot of times issues would come up at the North Hills Council of Government meetings. When I get home at night, I call Jerry and say, okay, what's the real story? And he had the information, details, it was unbelievable. He was very beneficial and helpful to me, and I really appreciate it. So Jerry, I'd like to make this presentation to you. To Jerry Hoffman, on behalf of the Shader Township Board of Commissioners, the Shader Township Administration, and the residents of Shader Township, please accept our gratitude and appreciation for your years of intergovernmental cooperation between the Town of McCandless Council and the Shader Township Board of Commissioners. You are to be commended for your 44 years of service at the Town of McCandless Council. Your willingness to work with Shader Township in solving mutual concerns and improving the lifestyle of thousands of North Hills residents will never be forgotten. The experience that you brought to the North Hills Council of Governments in assisting its 19 municipalities invaluable. We wish you good health and prosperity in retirement from office. Presented December 18, 2017 by Timothy J. Rogers, manager, and myself.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Jerry. We two gentlemen, yet 91 years of service. There's a lot of experience and knowledge walking out before December 31st. I hope the new members of council appreciate that, and we'll give the same effort that these two gentlemen have given it over the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Jerry, I understand you would like to make a few comments at this time. Please do so now.
Well, how many comments do you want me to make?
Keep it under 2 hours.
3,000.
First of all, I want to thank everybody, the people who gave me the award. It's going to be Pump Station, or Pump Ave Road now becomes Hoffman Lane. That's interesting. There's plenty of Hoffmans around. We only have, what, few of the contingencies. There's 3 of my kids are here. There's one down in South Carolina. She didn't make it. There's a few grandkids here. I have 13 of them. There's great grandkids too. I think there's 3, 6, right? Is that right, Bev? 6 great grandkids. So we have quite a contingent. My fellow citizens and council members, thanks to you, I have served you to the best of my ability for 44 years. I wish to also thank my wife, my family for their support and encouragement. I want to take this time to also thank the town employees for their help and support. The town office staff has always helped make the process of service possible. The public works crew does an excellent job of monitoring the roads and other town properties. The police force is excellent, and I can't thank the employees enough. During my watch, there were many challenges to solve, and our elected body worked cooperatively to solve them. We had differences, but we put them aside to work as a consensus. That's what a collective body does, and that's why we have made progress. There are many projects we worked on, and I'm going to mention some of them. The sidewalk ordinance was passed in 1995. Bob Powers and I were the rookies on council, and we were the Board of Commissioners, and we were told that we would have to meet with the North Hills Builders Association, a committee of, before they would pass the ordinance. Well, the meeting was set for a Saturday morning in this building. We thought we'd meet 5 or 6 or 3 or 4, something like that. We come in and the place was filled. Pickup trucks all over the driveway, and builders, and every builder and every developer from the North Hills was in here, screaming and hollering. And we walked in the room. A few of them brought their lawyers. Some of them were threatening us. Anyway, I'll never forget the incident with Mr. Al Thompson Sr. A little man stood up on a chair and said, give me your attention. I want to talk to you. And his words impressed me that day. He said, we're developers. What do? We buy a piece of ground, we just lay out lots, we put roads in, we put utilities in, and we sell the lots. And they said, yeah, you're right. And we make a profit on that sale. Now these fellows are telling us we have to put sidewalks in, so we're going to do it. They got the votes to pass, I know that. And we're going to be putting the sidewalks in. So we put some profit on for the sidewalks. Is there anyone in this room that doesn't want to make a profit? And the guys looked at him, agreed with him, and the meeting was over. So that settled that argument. We had no problems then. The other job that was thrust off on us, we didn't have any traffic lights in North Park. And Bob and I undertook the task of lobbying to get traffic light in North Park. One we started out as, and that was on Babcock Boulevard, Ingomar Road. You know the intersection. Every weekend, the county would send police down there to patrol that weekend. And it was a bad intersection. There were accidents there all the time. So we started to talk to everybody we could. And we finally made some progress when we talked to Commissioner Forrester. And he said to one of his aides, well, we'll see what we can do for these two fellas. They're persistent anyway. So we had a meeting set up, and by that time, we had a new manager. And the new manager set up the meeting, and he called me one after the day of the meeting at lunchtime, because he could only get me at lunchtime. And he says, can you get a hold of somebody downtown? They're all sending their second tier. Well, we knew that if they sent their assistants and their aides, we weren't going to get anything. It would take another 2 years to get answers. I said, I will make a call. I happen to have a friend downtown, and he worked in the offices. He says, I'll see that they're there. And when I walked in that room, they were all there, including the Ames and the county manager, and we made progress, and it went pretty smooth. They even had PennDOT there, who before had no stoplights, but all of a sudden found one somewhere. They said, well, we're taking it from eastern Pennsylvania. I didn't care where they were taking it from. They put it up, and we still have those signals today. Of course, we had to battle to get the right-hand turn lane, and that's another story for another day. But that was one project. The second red light at Coomer Road was a lot easier because Senator Jane Claire Orey took care of that for us, and she provided the money, and we provided the expertise, I guess. The other project that was wished off on me, was we had a manager, an old manager, Earl Jordan, retired. His assistant manager took over. Well, he wasn't the best manager for the time. So we had a parting of the ways. We were lucky that we had an assistant manager then who was very good and was capable of running the town, but she didn't want the job. So we appointed a committee to find a nationwide search for a manager. Well, it was a lot harder then than it is today because communications were slow. So between myself, I was chairman, Tom Moore, and Ron Sherbach, we says, how are we going to do this? Well, we drew up, first of all, a job description for manager because we didn't have one. And we went and we put that out. We sent it to Joe James at Pitt, Christine Altenberger, who was professors over there, and they had taught us a class, just like incoming commissioners go now. We went to Pitt there for 10 weeks or whatever it was on one night a week. And those people were really good. And we went on after the meeting. After that, we put out a job description and postings in newspapers at the school of Pitt, at Carnegie Mellon, and at Penn State. And lo and behold, we got a deluge of applications. I think we had to number them. There were 154, if I recall correctly. What are we going to do with these? So we each took some, and we read all of them. We numbered them. That's why I know there's 154. We numbered those resumes, and we each took and said, get 10 or 15 that interest you, and we'll see how we do. Individually, we did that and come back with a sheet of paper with the numbers we had on there. We had applications from all the way out of Montana, Wheeling, West Virginia, and every place in between. And lo and behold, one number came up on all three. 4 or 5 numbers came up on all three. But one of them was from a young naval officer from Selinsgrove. And we called 4 or 5 people in and interviewed them, and then took 3 to council. And the young naval officer from Selinsgrove is here right now at my right hand. That was, 35 years ago?
34, but close enough.
Well, you're going to call me a liar for a year. So he's been here ever since, and may we keep him. That's how we got our manager. And believe me, it was well worth the effort, although I don't know whether I want to do that again. I don't have time. So, quite an interesting story. We led the area in stormwater because we had developers who simply thought they should be able to dump the water over the hill and let it go where it wanted. It took a lot of work, and we had ordinances before the state had ordinances. They looked at our ordinances when they started to look for ways to develop, ways to control stormwater. We also got involved with COG, and we have uniform ordinances for 19 municipalities. All of that on our doings. And we've been in some of these areas where the water is not controlled and it causes problems, believe you me. I think I've done enough. That's some of the things I recollect that we work on. Fire codes, building codes, we didn't have them. We have them now, and they're enforced too. I could also go on about road improvements. We had a group called NPCDC that studied intersections on Pine and McCandless Township. They did very well. Gave us a report, and we got to work with the state, and we put in improvements. The upgrade of Route 19, for instance, has taken about 40 years of lobbying, maybe 45 now. Time goes away fast. That started while I was president of the fire company and after I got elected. And the last major improvement we are proud of is the Pine Creek intersection. Sarah, you can be proud of yourself for helping us push that through. And I already laid the groundwork for the next intersection improvement. So we'll see how long that takes. I don't think I have time to wait for that one. So with that, if anybody has any questions, I'm always willing to answer them or talk to you about them.
Jerry,
I wrote a speech, but as you know, I'm not following it.
Okay. If there is something someone's just dying to say, that's okay. Otherwise, we're going to thank Mr. Hoffman for his 44 years of service, and as he just illustrated, we're losing a lot of knowledge with your departure out into the world of retirement, Jerry. And we may be telephonically communicating with you from time to time to find out to get information from you. But thank you again, and your family's here, proud of your accomplishments, and thank you. I think that's it at this point. And Toby, did you want to add anything? Or
I'm not going to make any speeches, that's for sure, but I think if it's okay with everybody, if Jerry wouldn't mind going down off the dais one time, could we have a photo with his family? I think that would be a nice thing. Is that all right, Jerry? You're the chairman, is that all right?
Sure. If they want to.
They're discussing.
Sending a delegation up.
Grandchildren aren't too happy.
Yep.
Where do you want it, John?
Mm-hmm.
You got a wide angle, right? Here's Grandma. Looks like Ma and Pa Kettle.
Thank you.
Good,
thanks
thank
very
you.
much, John. As soon as Jerry gets back to his seat, we'll pick up with item number 5. I think, Joanne, you're covering that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ralph?
Yeah, that's Ralph. Okay, why don't you go right ahead then?
Move to approve the minutes of council's regular business meeting of November 27, 2017, as submitted to each member of council.
Second.
Any questions? Question on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Minutes are approved. We'll move on to our committee meetings. Finance and Personnel Committee.
I move to ratify the list of bills on list number 12, dated November 16th, 2017, through December 7th, 2017, totaling $978,994.70, as submitted to each member of council and posted on the bulletin board.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions on them? Question on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to adopt ordinance number 1470, an ordinance reappropriating various amounts of funds within the general fund 2017 budget. in accordance with Article 125 of the town's codified ordinances.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions on that? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to adopt ordinance number 1471, an ordinance setting the real estate tax rate of 1.236 mils for 2018. Other revenue sources and setting appropriations for the 2018 calendar year budget.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none, call for a question on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to adopt resolution number 23 of the 2017 series, a resolution approving the list of active volunteer firefighters received from Highland, Ingomar, and Peoples Town of McCandless Volunteer Fire Companies eligible for the Act 172 Earned Income Tax Credit adopted by ordinance number 1466 as certified by the fire chief of each company.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to adopt resolution number 24 of the 2017 series, a resolution establishing the amount when competitive bidding shall not be required for contracts for labor, material, supplies, or services at $47,958.42 in accordance with Section 1303 of the Town Home Rule Charter.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
Brief comment, if I may.
Comment?
The comment is that while this says that competitive bidding shall not be required, that means an award of a contract by town council is required for anything over this amount. We do have a system in place that council put into effect many years ago, and it is approved when council approves the budget, which they just did. That system is stipulated in the budget document that has a bidding procedure that is handled administratively.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to adopt resolution number 25 of the 2017 series, a resolution establishing the rate of participant contributions of the Town of McCandless Police Pension Plan at 5% for 2018.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Question on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to appoint James Doherty to the Town of McCandless Personnel Board for a 3-year term to commence January 1st, 2018, and expire December 31st, 2020.
Second.
Any discussion? Question on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to appoint Eric Zarin as an alternate member of the Town of McCandless Personnel Board for a 3-year term to commence January 1st, 2018, and expire on December 31st, 2020.
Second.
Motion to appoint Eric Zarin. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to appoint Gerard Hoffman Jr. to the McCandless Industrial Development Authority for a 5-year term to commence on January 1st, 2018, and expire on December 31st, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to appoint Kevin E. Kennedy, Dr. Robert Potter, and Richard Schnupp to a 4-year term on the McCandless Northern Allegheny Heritage Center Financial Development and Promotional Committee with a term to commence on January 1st, 2018, and expire on December 31st, 2021.
Second.
Question on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to appoint Lynn Atman and Diane Illis to a 2-year term on McCandless Northern Allegheny Heritage Center Financial Development and Promotional Committee with the term to commence on January 1st, 2018 and expire on December 31st, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion? Question on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
This concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman Powers. Zoning Committee, Councilman McKim.
I move to adopt resolution number 26 of the 2017 series, a resolution prohibiting the location of a Category 4 slot machine licensed gaming facility, which is a gaming facility with no less than 300 and not more than 750 slot machines and up to 40 table games within the boundaries of the town of McCandless pursuant to 4 PA Consolidated Statute Section 1305.1, parent A.1, parent 1, parent period.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion there?
Mr. McKim had a comment. Mr. McKim, have any comments? Is there any comment?
Well, this has been discussed at length, but the effect of doing this is to prohibit the having a gaming concern seek to move into McCandless by locating Category 4 slot machines that they could otherwise do. We have the power under the state statute and the local ordinances to prohibit that use, and we are a vote in favor of this resolution would be effectively prohibiting it.
And we can always opt in if later we decide it would be to our advantage that the town council could vote to opt in. But if we don't opt out now before December 31st, 2017, then there is no chance to opt out later.
That's
Any other-
absolutely correct. I'm sorry. That's absolutely correct, Mr. Wakauskas, and that's why we're doing it. Nobody knows what the future will hold, but we vote on things one at a time here. Mr. President, I think, does anybody else on council have any comments, or? Okay.
Well, we'll call for a question on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. President, I move to adopt resolution number 27 of the 2017 series, a resolution appointing Ken Cuccinelli to the Town of McCandless Zoning Hearing Board for a 3-year term to commence on January 1st, 2018 and expire on December 31st, 2020.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Any question?
As the liaison to the zoning hearing board, I've observed Ken, and he does a great job.
All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to appoint Keith McGill to the McCandless Uniform Construction Fire and Property Maintenance Code Appeals Board for a 4-year term to commence on January 1st, 2018 and expire on December 31st, 2021.
Second.
Any questions on that? Question on the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. President, I have no further business under the Zoning Committee.
Thank you, Councilman McKim. Public Safety Committee.
Mr. President, I move to extend the memorandum of understanding between the McCandless Police Officers Association and the town of McCandless through December 31, 2018.
Second.
Any discussion?
Brief comment, negotiations, both parties want to continue them so that we can achieve a contract next year, particularly in the area of scheduling. One change to the contract would grant a 3% wage increase across the board to the members of the police department.
Question on the motion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Public Safety Committee has nothing further, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Ledon. Services Committee.
I move to appoint Don Huber to the McCandless Franklin Park Ambulance Authority for a 5-year term to commence January 1st, 2018, and expire on December 31st, 2022.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Question on the motion?
Don Huber is currently the chairman, and I feel that with his strong business background, he must be an outstanding member. We also had a Dr. Venkat who showed some interest in the being a member, and he has extremely strong credentials, and he has some good ideas. I would encourage him to apply again, maybe next year. But in the meantime, we should probably discuss extending to him a invitation to visit the board or be at the meetings of the board.
I think it would be a good idea for us to mention to him possibly being an advisor also to the board because he has such a good background.
Yeah, I agree.
This gentleman's background, I would add, really is stellar in terms of his academic achievement. If I remember correctly, without referring to the notes here, he's a graduate of Yale and Harvard. He was summa cum laude in his undergraduate degree. I think he had his medical degree from Yale. And he has some very interesting ideas that, from a technical standpoint, the delivery of medical services, that he could really maybe get people to adopt some of them, and for that reason, his involvement, as just described, would be a good idea in my judgment as well.
Ready for a question? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to appoint Don Jackson to the Northland Public Library Authority for a 5-year term to commence on January 1st, 2018, and expire on December 31st, 2022.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Roll call vote.
Ward 1,
Aye.
Ward 2,
Nay.
Ward 3,
Aye.
Ward 4,
Nay.
Ward 5,
Aye.
Ward 6,
Nay.
Ward 7.
Nay.
Mr. Chairman, I count 4 nays, 3 ayes. The motion is defeated.
Is there another nomination to the library board?
I
That's
move.
it.
Oh, you want to make the motion? Go ahead, make the motion. Please, be my guest.
Want to do rock, paper, scissors?
No, just make it, please.
I move to appoint Joanne Powers to the Northland Public Library Authority for a 5-year term to commence on January 1st, 2018, and expire on December 31st, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We'll have a vote on Mrs. Powers. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Nay.
Roll call vote.
Ward 1,
Nay.
Ward 2,
Aye.
Ward 3,
Nay.
Ward 4,
Aye.
Ward 5,
Nay.
Ward 6,
Aye.
Ward 7.
Aye.
Mr. President, I count 4 ayes, 3 nays.
Motion
passed.
to appoint Joanne Powers carried. That's it. We have that on there twice. New business, any new business from the council? I don't hear any. Public comments. Anyone have any comments to be made? Come forward and identify yourself.
Good evening. Hi, Marcia Caliendo, 380 Mohican Avenue. First, I want to say this is not about the person, this is about the process. Mrs. Powers, this is not personal, this is not about your qualifications. But to have a council member vote for themselves to allow a council member to apply for a position when there were a lot of qualified candidates who applied that, I just think it's inappropriate. At a minimum, Mrs. Powers, you should have recused yourself from the process. So that's all I want to say.
I just follow the process of council.
You could have recused yourself, which would have been the appropriate thing.
Any other? Councilmember Hoffman, come on up, please. Identify yourself.
May I speak from the podium?
Pardon?
May I speak from the podium?
Sure.
Your choice.
So my name's Don Muller. My wife and my 6 children, an occasional in-law, and my neighbor's dog live in McCandless Township at 1501 Montgomery Road. We've lived here for 13 years. And I'm here this evening to talk about sense and sensibilities, or perhaps better said, of lack of sense and sensibilities. I'm here as an angry and worried husband and father, and a concerned citizen of McCandless Township. I take no pleasure in what I'm going to talk about this evening. I'd rather be home. My family has lived here in the township since December of 2004 with no regrets. We've enjoyed our 13 years here. Over the course of those years, I've interacted with the police department, the planning commission, the ambulance authority, public works, and the tax office. And while I cannot claim that I've always gotten what I wanted, nor probably should I have, I was treated without exception, civilly and with professional decorum. I have not, however, had any interaction with McCandless Town Council until November 7th of this year. 3 of our children, Joseph, who is 16, Thomas, 15, and Greta Marie, now 13, volunteered at the voting polls on November 7th and have done so for the past 2 years. Our children have enjoyed this civic activity, believing that they have in some small way helped with the election process and contributed to our community and country. Their light of youthful enthusiasm was certainly dimmed after their time at the voting polls located at Hozak Elementary School on the 7th of November, after being verbally accosted by a gentleman who was campaigning for a candidate for town council, one who was running against the incumbent my children were polling for. I have to say that I was hesitant to approach council this evening, believing, perhaps selfishly, that my discourse would have no benefit to my family or the community of McCandless. However, I was inundated with telephone calls, cards, letters from individuals who either witnessed the event who became aware of the incident through word of mouth. This matter seems to have gone viral through our community. It also seems like a tarnish on the recognition of Ralph LaDawn and Mr. Jerry Hoffman for the years of service that we're celebrating this evening. I apologize for that. But all encouraged me to talk this evening before town council. They said I have a moral obligation to do so. I believe this matter was also presented to town council through a letter from one of the voters who witnessed the incident. This all began rather innocently enough when a man questioned my daughter if she was Ralph LaDawn's granddaughter. The reply was, "None of us are his grandchildren." but he is like a grandfather to us. And this gentleman's reply, oh, that explains why you're supporting that racist, sexist bigot for town council. The gentleman who confronted my children here is here this evening. He is also a member of town council. His name is Stephen Mertz. I'd like to share with you this evening some of the dialogue between Mr. Mertz and my children, and let you judge whether this is proper for an adult speaking to children, to anyone for that matter, let alone a representative of the residents of McCandless Township. And let me preface this with an apology to those attending this evening and to town council. Even as I truncate the expletive language, many of you will still be offended. So I begin. You're so stupid. I was smarter than you when you were 4. I can't believe your idiotic, degraded family can be so stupid to vote for such a bigot. As a telling side note, neither my wife nor I could vote for Mr. Ledon because we don't reside in his ward. It's a-holes like you who are ruining our town. F you. I'm sorry, I just can't repeat this. Even as I abbreviate it, it's just too offending. So actually, I'm going to reserve the more profoundly expletive language. I believe you've gotten the gist of this.
Mr. Chair.
I have.
I think we should point out to the individual, there's a
5-minute limit.
and I think he's reached it.
Fine.
There's a 5-minute limit for comments, sir.
No one informed me of that. So I could go on for probably half an hour. So I'll just conclude then that, we're not enemies here, but we're friends. United in a great country and locally in our community of McCandless by our creed of equality and freedom and our common good. And when we are reminded of this, as we pledge allegiance to that flag this evening, our attention to the stars and stripes and the hands across our heart of what we've achieved through civil discourse, even if it's strained by our passions. If anybody's interested in more detail, I'd be happy to provide it at a later date.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comment? Anyone else have any comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number, letter G.
Mr. President, I move the meeting be adjourned.
Second. We've moved the second move, meeting is adjourned. All in favor of adjournment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.